Hey chicos, ¿qué tal? Pues bueno, aquí estamos de nuevo y hoy venimos con un nuevo vídeo de Tronan Liberty con la actualización que vamos a tener este jueves. Bueno, vamos a ver qué nos habla de la nueva incursión de 12 jugadores. Bueno, vamos a echarle un vistacito al vídeo y vemos un poquito también qué nos cuenta del nuevo equipo legendario que vamos a poder obtener en esta incursión. Vamos a ver. Bueno, lo he parado aquí en el vídeo que justo está hablando de ello.
12-player raid. So it's going to be 2 parties of 6, and you will enter the raid, and the raid is going to have 3 stages.
Bueno, ya estamos viendo, ¿no? Que son para 12 personas, con grupos de 6 personas, digamos, 2 equipos.
It's going to be Dragal, Vulcan, and Zyros. And
bueno, vamos a tener 2 jefes principales y el jefe final.
To get to the end, and kill Calanthea.
I see. Okay. First question from that. So you said it's going to be 2 parties of 12 people. Like, how will players find a group? Are we using the same matchmaking system?
Yeah. There'll be 2 parties of 6 people, so it'll be a total of 12 players.
Yeah.
For normal mode, for the base mode, you will be able to use matchmaking in order to enter. And if you
Bueno, aquí tendremos 3 dificultades. Entonces, en la primera podremos buscar party como cualquier dungeon normal. Bueno, sabemos tanque, 4 DPS y sanador. Para las 2 siguientes dificultades ya tendremos que tener nuestro grupo preparado para entrar.
If you go in matchmaking, it'll be the kind of standard team composition: 1 tank, 4 DPS, and 1 healer in each party. But you can also pre-form your party and enter the raid that way, and of course then your team composition can be whatever that you want it to be. And
bueno, la composición es libre también, hacerla como quieras. Pero si buscamos emparejamiento, pues entonces tiene que ser tanque, sanador y DPS. Bueno, aquí está hablando del paladín como tanque. O sea que viene eso, pero...
RP as well, just relax. So, it got me thinking, like, would this be a good opportunity for me to shine in the raid, like, or the other players who prefer off-meta build?
Yeah, I think it's great. You know, one of the things that was done when the design for the raid was being done is really trying to put more of a focus on kind of having roles and purpose within the raid that weren't necessarily just who does the most raw DPS. I think that's something that you see a lot in co-op dungeons or dimensional trials, for example, where raw DPS is often king. In the raid, we wanted there to be a lot more strategy, team coordination that was necessary to defeat these mechanics and to give different roles opportunities to shine.
Bueno, trabajo en equipo. El emparejamiento tiene que ser una risa, la verdad.
Classes that come through in the game, so we'll see. I think it should be interesting.
Okay, follow question. I'm going back to what you told me originally. So there's going to be like multiple stages in this raid. There are multiple bosses.
That's right.
Ah, bueno, esto también es un dato importante.
I'm assuming that this raid's going to be pretty difficult. So
podemos derrotar a un jefe, podemos salir y retomar la dungeon, pues cuando queramos básicamente. Porque ya se sabe que se podrá realizar cada dificultad una vez a la semana. Entonces, bueno, si no queremos pasar tanto rato, pues pasamos un boss, salimos, cuando se quiera retomar, pues se puede retomar.
And 12 people getting involved. Like, can I stop in the middle of the raid, or do I have to go from the boss number 1 all the way through Calanthea?
Yeah, it's a good question. The raid will take some time, especially early on. You're going to be learning all the mechanics, trying to conquer it. You know, and getting 12 people's schedule aligned can sometimes, you know, take some planning. So you don't have to do the entire raid at once. It'll work very similar to our solo dungeons now, where after each boss, you essentially hit a checkpoint. So anytime you've completed a boss, you've hit a checkpoint, you can come back and pick up from there as well. What I will note is that you can go back and do other bosses. So, you know, if I group with you today, we kill Dragal, and then we take a break. If I find a new party tomorrow and they're starting over at Dragal, that's okay. I can come back, can still fight against Dragal.
Bueno, también, a ver, puedes recibir la recompensa una vez a la semana, pero puedes entrar, si quieres ayudar a tu gremio o a alguien, pues puedes también ayudar.
And then continue with the party from there. So lots of flexibility, but you definitely reach those checkpoints after every boss.
Una vez a la semana.
Duplicate rewards, you know, once you kill Dragal for that week, then that's the only time that you can get the rewards, but you can go back with the party and do it again if you need to.
Da igual cuántas veces lo derrotes, la recompensa una vez a la semana.
Yes. You know, I don't want to reveal too many mechanics. Probably the one I'm most excited about, though, is the second stage, where you have Vulcan and Zyros.
Bueno, contra dos jefes al mismo tiempo.
These are these twin dragons, fire and ice.
Los dragones gemelos de fuego y hielo.
Maybe it's a little bit kind of like the Manticus brothers, where there's two bosses and you're kind of trying to deal with them both at the same time. This is definitely going to require a lot more coordination and strategy than the Manticus brothers, I would say. But it's the first time we've really had to have that level of coordination between two parties and especially two tanks. I think that historically our PvE content, the tanks almost a little bit have felt like a solo player. You're doing your own thing, you're trying to keep aggro on the boss, your mechanics are really completed on your own. And in the raid, I think tanks are going to now get to see that coordination between another tank that is really fun, that you've maybe experienced in other MMOs. You'll be able to now, so really excited about that.
That's very exciting.
Vale, tenemos que realizar mecánicas con los jefes que hay, que son como dos jefes. Queremos saber qué tan difícil resulta.
Can we learn more about this, like, tiered difficulty?
Yeah, so there'll be 3 stages actually of difficulties. The first stage is normal.
Vale, pero
the second
espérate.
stage is difficult.
Aquí estamos viendo 3 dificultades: normal, difícil y experto. Bueno, y también tendremos diferentes recompensas según el nivel de dificultad. Estamos viendo que tenemos varios materiales nuevos. También tenemos material de este para las armas. Tendremos runas. Bueno, de mientras que no metan equipo T1, vamos bien.
And then there'll be a third stage called Nightmare.
Vale, normal. Ay, no lo sé.
So the first stage, normal, it will have a...
Bueno, requiere 5000 de poder.
So that's the same amount that you have right now.
Bueno, lo más seguro que sea bajito.
So if you're able to get into our latest co-op dungeon, the 4-star dungeon, you'll be able to enter the raid on the normal.
Bueno, las siguientes dificultades tendrán 6000 de poder. Requerirá.
We want the majority of our players to come in, be able to enjoy the raid. Yes, it's still going to be challenging. You'll have to progress your way through and learn the mechanics. But generally, we view it as a highly completable option for the raid, so really accessible to as many players as possible. Then we start ramping things up. Then we have the difficult version, and that will have a combat power.
Mira, aquí tenemos los dos. Bueno, de recompensas creo que igual. Vale, aquí lo he parado justo. Vale, esta es la normal. Vale, aquí vemos la recompensa.
Have the difficult version, and that will have a combat power.
Bueno, y las dos creo que dan igual, pero cambia el Amitoy de fuego y hielo.
Of 6000.
Entonces la buena recompensa, claro, exactamente, está en la dificultad más alta. Bueno, que ya vamos a poder conseguir nuestras armas, armaduras. Tenemos 2 cofres, uno para selección de armas y otro cofre para selección de armadura, la que tú quieras. Bueno, tenemos una bolsa con armas T2 y T1, equipo azul, no lo sabemos. Vale.
A good way to think about the difficulty progression is when you go in normal mode, all the stages, all the bosses, they're just going to have one phase. So you kill the
bueno, cada jefe solo tiene una fase. En la mayor dificultad tendrá 2 fases.
And that's on top of the harder mechanics, and the mechanics also being more punishing, you know. So that's how that progression will take place.
Okay, what about the nightmare mode? Like, I'm imagining right now, will Calanthea just beat the shit out of him? Like, what's gonna happen?
Well, definitely some Paladin players may struggle with nightmare mode, but I won't say which ones, I just said some. Yeah, nightmare is really actually intended for, I would say, our most hardcore audience. So this is going to be the most challenging PvE content we have in TL. It's not.
Bueno, otro dato también, el modo más difícil que hay saldrá en agosto, ¿vale? No estará disponible ahora mismo.
The expectation that everybody can complete.
No sé si lo dice aquí, la verdad.
To be very challenging, and only for some of our most skilled players to be able to complete it. And that one won't arrive until August. So in August, Nightmare mode will unlock.
Ah, mira, sí, lo dice aquí, claro. Hasta agosto. Muy bien.
Reasons, one of them being we expect that you're going to need some of the new heroic gear in order to be able to complete it. But when it does arrive, it's going to be extremely difficult, and a small percentage of our audience will probably be able to beat it. Over time, people will get more powerful.
Entonces no lo tendremos
You know,
ahora
it will
mismo en el
become easier
lanzamiento.
over time, just by the nature of people getting more powerful. But early on, it's going to be really difficult.
Okay, I'm super excited. Did you guys hear that he said something about heroic here? I'm gonna get to that a little bit later. Okay, so this is how I understood so far. The raid, 12-player instance dungeon type.
Pues bueno, será bastante
and,
importante estar con el gremio.
like players for normal mode, it's for everyone who plays TL. They can
Bueno,
enter
modo
the
pesadilla.
instance, get the reward, and defeat Calanthea. Versus nightmare mode will be like for it's for whoever wants the hardest challenge.
That's right.
Okay,
yeah.
I think I got it. I'm getting curious about these bosses because their names are quite intriguing, and I've been enjoying the
Bueno, aquí
Calanthea's
creo que no hablan
Codex
más
that was
sobre la
released last
incursión.
month. So I want to hear a little bit more about this lore. But I don't.
Bueno,
think
aquí nos
we can
cuenta
do
un poquito sobre la misión. Nada,
이후
esto lo vamos a
환란
pasar.
전쟁에서 끌어온 고력이라 각각의 보스 간막 세트
A ver,
구성에
Que nos hablen de cosas importantes.
rewards.
Vale, aquí
Let's
está.
talk about rewards because I know everyone.
La
who's
recompensa,
watching
vamos
just
a ver.
want to-
Can complete normal and difficult tier.
This guy.
We'll be able to get the rewards from each of them independently each week.
Okay, I understood. Okay. So what kind of rewards are we talking about?
Bueno,
Like,
vamos a ver si nos
I know
dicen cuál es la
before we watched
recompensa.
the NCSoft interview, Tico
El
talked
equipo
about under-
heroico.
That's right.
That's a reward.
Yeah.
Bueno, aquí ya lo
Here
estamos
is
viendo,
coming.
vamos a ver. Equipo. Bueno, también dicen que el equipo eórico nivel 0 será igual que el equipo T2 que tenemos a 12. Entonces, bueno, te lo puedes equipar sin subir de nivel, que tendrás el mismo poder.
Coming from the raid, so that will be the primary reward that you can get from the raid. Of course, you'll get other things, some materials. Maybe we'll talk about those a little bit later. Some
Bueno,
of the standard
necesitaremos
materials that
un
you get, but the
material
core reward
especial
that you're
para
looking for
subir
is
de
the
nivel
heroic.
también. Bueno,
Okay, let's learn
tardaremos
more
un
about
tiempo,
this
la verdad.
because I never heard about this. Like, is it a new
Aquí lo
tier
dice.
of a like epic tier
It's
2?
not a new tier, it's a new grade. So, you know, we
Oh.
have gray, green, blue, purple, or, you know, common, uncommon, rare, epic. So now heroic will be a new grade of gear, but it won't be a new
Nuevo
tier
grado.
specifically, just a new
I
grade.
see.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's so like unique about
ver,
this
algún
one?
cambio
Like, how is
especial?
it different than the tier 2 epic?
Yeah. So in terms of power, I would say when you get a heroic piece of gear, the power of it at +0 is going to be equivalent to
Bien.
your current tier 2
Bueno, eso es
epic
lo que he
+12.
comentado
So right out of the
anteriormente.
gate, it's going to have equal power, and that's something that we're really excited about. You know, we wanted that when you go through the struggle of the raid, you're learning all the mechanics, you're having your progression nights, you're really trying to get to the end, and when you finally do get that piece of heroic gear, you can feel like you can immediately wear it. You know, it's equivalent or better than any of the gear you're currently wearing. We wanted you to have that feeling where you could immediately equip
Vale,
it.
igual de
So,
fuerte.
the power that it has, or the stats basically, will be equivalent to a tier 2 +12 item for epic tier 2 +12 item.
Like interesting about this because I was kind of reading through our design document, of course, before filming this. I have to do my homework, guys. I read something about like swapping
Bien,
ability
quizás
or
también
skill.
podremos cambiar algunas
Yeah,
cualidades
so that will
del
be for
equipo.
the weapons. So heroic weapons, you know, typically our epic weapons comes with some sort of passive skill applied to it. And so the heroic
bien,
weapon,
sí,
rather than
recuerdo
having
ya
just one passive skill, it actually doesn't come with a base passive.
Entonces, aquí lo que quiere decir que vamos a poder pasar las pasivas del equipo T2 o equipo archivos a nuestras armas heroicas, básicamente.
Passive skill. Instead, there'll be this new system where you can extract skills from
Tanto
other
de
epic
nivel
weapons.
2
So
como
any
de
tier 2
nivel
epic
1.
weapon, or also the tier 1 arc boss weapons. You can extract that skill and then you essentially imprint it on the heroic weapon. So
Claro, ¿eh? Y ahora
you
se
know,
puede grabar
basically you can choose
esta
any of
pasiva
the passives
en
that
el
you
arma.
want and put it on your most powerful weapon. I mean, I think this is going to have crazy implications to the meta and what people are doing and what are the weapon combinations that can be successful or not. And so you will be able to equip it that way. You do have to keep longbow to longbow or sword to sword. You can't take a sword passive and put it on a longbow heroic weapon. But so you do have to keep the weapon tight, but you can swap
Bueno, solo con armas
Okay,
del mismo
so
tipo.
just
Espada,
to make
espada,
sure
arco, arco.
if I understood correctly, because it's a brand new system. So that I have a epic tier 2. Let's say my favorite great sword, of course. The Cordis Warblade of Creeping Doom.
Do you have one of those?
Maybe not.
I didn't,
But let's say
I didn't know
have-
that sword dropped from the wolf
Oh
hunting event.
Oh my god, so
Se parte el
distracting.
culo yo
Okay,
solo.
what if I have the
Oh,
gray
if you
sword?
have it. Okay, got
And
it.
because I love it. I mean, everyone loves its the passive ability, like
Yeah.
the skill coming from the great sword. So I can extract that skill and imprint it onto like great sword. I got it off of raid.
That's
Is that
right.
correct?
Yeah, basically. So if you get the initial weapon, then you'll be allowed
Vale,
to
trae su
extract
habilidad
that skill.
y la
that
puedes
essentially
imbuir
goes into its own little
dentro
item,
de
like
la
a
otra.
skill perk item.
Y se la
And
das
then
como
that item
pasiva.
can be imprinted onto the weapon. There will be a cost to imprinting it, so it won't be something that you can just do. You know, I go to a co-op dungeon, I do a new one, then I come out of it and I swap back. You won't be swapping quite that often, but you will have the ability to swap between them. So if for a period of time you want to try one of the passes, maybe you don't like it as much, you can swap to another one. And you won't lose anything that you swap in and out. So there is a cost to kind of...
Digamos, puedes cambiar la pasiva que le das a tu arma, pero claro, eso también costará... Parece que se ha visto unos pergaminos, que será lo que usaremos para poder dar la pasiva de las armas. Entonces, bueno, lo puedes cambiar todas las veces que quieras. La pasiva tampoco se pierde. La puedes extraer del arma y no se pierde, te se queda ahí ya guardada.
apply a new one, but you don't lose the one that you had. So you're always going to be able to collect more and more of these skill perks if you want, and then you can test them out, try them on your raid weapon, see if they work for you, and swap them in and out freely. So that part's pretty cool. And you know, also that will be for not just arc boss weapons. Any
Bueno, de las armas
tier 2
archivo.
epic weapons will be able to do that as well.
That's fantastic. I'm quite excited about this. I know my guild members and other friends are excited about this. I think it's going to change the PvP scene a lot.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, guys.
Bueno, el
Get your
PvP,
brain going.
PvP,
Come
no,
up with like new meta.
no comentar
and
nada
let's
de
see,
porque
we can have fun.
eso
So,
arreglan
new
bien poquito, la
grade of
verdad.
weapons coming from the raid. Like, how do we upgrade this? Like,
Bueno,
do
¿cómo
we
se
stack up
fortalece?
some mats right now, or
Yeah, good question. So no, you can't. So you will upgrade it. Well, maybe you can a little bit. So you will upgrade it with growth stones. So very similar process to what we do now. So that whole craft a growth stone and then use it to upgrade your weapon, that will basically remain the same. But what will change is the recipe for
Bueno, tendremos una nueva piedra de crecimiento. ¿Vale? Bueno, que podemos usar, vale, cristal del caos. Esto creo que se consigue en la nueva incursión. Y solo la podemos hacer 3 veces a la semana. Bueno, no sé yo cuántas piedras de estas conseguiremos. Se podrá comprar con lucen, farmear en otros sitios. Eso no lo sé, chicos.
So there will be some new materials that come out of the raid.
Bueno, claro, se podrá obtener en las incursiones.
There's going to be entropy shards and there's going to be chaos prisms. So chaos prisms is what will be used as materials for crafting these new heroic growth stones. And
Claro,
so
para
you
crear
will have to play
piedras
the
de
raid in order
crecimiento.
to acquire those and get them in order to
Pues
craft
bueno,
the
esto
growth
costará
stones and then
bastante
level up
entonces
your weapon.
subir de nivel.
So the general concept of
estas
how you do
armas.
it is remaining the same, but the materials needed to craft those growth stones, it's now going to come out of the raid. And so that's similar but different from tier 2. And there's probably some
Bueno, otra cosa también que se olvidaba. Solamente puedes tener un arma heroica y también una pieza de equipo. Una sola pieza.
maybe it's not leveling it up, but there's differences in the traits for heroic gear. And
Vale,
so
a
we
ver si
mentioned that the
muestra
weapons
esto de
have
los
this new skill perk
rasgos.
system, but the armor and the accessories, the accessories actually will come in August with the Nightmare mode.
Accesorios también. Bueno, llegará en agosto.
But the weapons and armor, which will release on June 26th, they will be different in 2 ways. One, you will be able to change the base stats on the actual piece of gear.
A
So let's say
ver. Bueno, entonces tendrá las 2 bases, estadísticas bases, y 2 aleatorias, ¿no? Que se puede cambiar. Aquí estamos viendo. Fuerza, percepción, Attack speed, critical hit chance. Vale, vale. Entonces podemos cambiar dos.
Say that you get a heroic gear and it has dexterity on it and you wanted wisdom, there will be a way through conversion stones and again through one of the materials that drops in the raid to convert it, in this case the entropy shards.
Espérate, a ver. Esto necesitará, bueno, las piedras de la nueva dungeon. Vale, la piedra de extracción de cualidades. Y la otra piedrecita que tenemos, ¿no? Claro, la de conversión. Vale, pero ¿qué cantidad? Son 30. Bueno, esto también es bastante, la verdad.
Convert from dexterity to wisdom. So that's something that's pretty cool. I think really one of the things you can look at with heroic gear is just the flexibility that you're going to have within it. You're going to be able to change those base stats and then you'll be able to do the weapon perk system as well.
Equipo costará bastante,
and then lastly,
bastante.
there'll be a special trait on the unique gear.
Ah, bueno, tiene otro rasgo también diferente. Tendrá los 3. Luego tenemos aquí otro. Heroic trae.
So you'll have your 3 normal traits.
Bueno, y se puede dar, a ver. Ah, mira, estadística. Fuerza, destreza, sabiduría, percepción, fortaleza.
But then you'll also have a special trait for base stats as well.
Okay, speaking of accessories.
Bueno, el
I know
tema
a
de
lot of
los
players been,
accesorios.
go into a Nebula Island for those juicy rings. And now we're getting new accessories. Like, how would you compare this to, like Nebula versus Raid accessories?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that they are just going to go together. You'll only be able to wear one accessory at a time. And again, these accessories will roughly have the same power as an epic tier 2 at plus 12. So, of course, Nebula accessories are some of our most powerful accessories that are in the game. Those aren't going to go away. They're still going to be useful for players. Just
Claro que lo pueda conseguir.
You can only wear one heroic accessory. And so you'll find which one you want to replace. But if you have all those Nebula ones already, you'll definitely keep them.
Okay.
Qué risa les da, porque a mí me da poca
is there
risa, la
any
verdad.
other rewards besides like weapons and equipment?
Yes. So you'll get the materials that I mentioned, the entropy shards and the chaos prisms, and those will be used for, the entropy shards will be used for several things. You'll use them to unlock
A ver, ¿qué piedra se usa? A ver si se ve.
traits on your heroic gear along with trait unlock stones.
Ah, necesitamos también piedras de la dungeon. Y 600 piedras de esto. De desbloqueo. 600. Un montón también, chicos.
Pair them together to unlock traits on your heroic gear. You will also use them for conversion, and then we will also allow you to craft heroic gear.
Vale, para fabricar piedras, para desbloquear los trae, las cualidades. Ah, mira, tenemos una tienda también. Cuidadito, es que no se ve con los subtítulos. Pues bueno, al final podrás comprar el equipo y las armas. Bueno, el arma que quieras o el equipo que tú quieras. Bien.
Heroic gear with that.
También podrás hacerte pues toda la skin del conjunto que tenemos nuevo. Bastante
Chaos
bonito.
prisms, as I mentioned, serve the function of helping to level up your gear, your heroic gear.
You will have to collect those entropy shards from the raid, and then you can craft the heroic gear. Is that correct?
It's more like you can craft heroic gear with the entropy shards, but if you defeat Calanthea, you will get heroic gear directly from that, and it is guaranteed to get a heroic piece. So you're not going to go in there and defeat Calanthea and not get any heroic gear. It is a guaranteed chance to get heroic gear. It will vary, is it a weapon, is it an armor, or which weapon, but you are guaranteed to get a heroic piece, even on normal difficulty. And of course, if you do it in the second tier on difficult, then you'll get 2 pieces per
son
week.
dos por semana, modo normal y modo
directly from
difícil.
the raid. As you go up in difficulty, there are some chances to get selection boxes so that then you can choose
Bueno, de
the
las cajas.
specific piece you want.
Tendrá también caja.
But anybody who completes the raid will get a heroic piece of gear
Oh,
as
that's
drops.
fantastic.
Yeah. And then aside from all that power, we're also going to have some
Bueno, tenemos
amitoys for all the
amitoy,
bosses,
los que caerán.
that you can earn in any of the difficulties. Of course, if you do more than one difficulty, you have more chance to get it. And then when Nightmare Mode comes out, we're really excited. We'll have a unique morph specific to
Bueno,
Nightmare
creo yo
Mode
que
that
ya
you
no
can earn.
comentan.
I just love
Nada
Yeah,
más,
kind of a
así,
sucker for, like,
importante.
you know, the submission had this kind of pencil drawing
Entonces, bueno, quería
going on,
revisar
and
un
I really
poquito
do
el
like
vídeo
those.
de
And I
Tico,
think
la
we'll probably
verdad.
be showing what it looks
A
like now.
ver
It's ready
qué
to go. It's going to
comentaba.
be in game when the raid launches.
Bueno, son
And,
cositas
you know,
interesantes,
basically,
la verdad, chicos. No sé vosotros qué pensáis. Pero bueno, esto es lo que tenemos. Lo recibiremos mañana, ya supuestamente. Y bueno, le echaremos un vistacito cuando saquen las notas del parche del global. A ver qué más trae. Nos vemos.